This is BNN, the Bennington News Network.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grimshaw. We're continuing with our coverage of the PFOA crisis, water crisis here in North Bennington and environs. And we continue with the forum held by the governor here at Bennington College.
Yes.
Hi, my name
Sorry, I never looked at the camera, so I didn't see you over there.
My name is Leslie, and I live less than a mile from the campsite. My question is about information and communication. I put my name and my phone number and my email address on everything. I received a couple of emails from Linda at the DEC, but for instance, this meeting, I'm obviously missing out on the communication because I haven't been contacted at all except for a couple of emails last week, and my water was tested and it hasn't come back.
So I can answer. I can answer that. We did do a lot of communication when we were down here last week. When we left, we didn't do communication over the weekend or yesterday, but we'll pick that back up. You're right, we should have sent out a communication about that. We're still working to get our systems together. So you didn't actually miss anything. I think that was just, we didn't send anything out about it, and we could have done that. I do want to announce that we did set up a call line for questions in the Department of Environmental Conservation, and it's 802-828-1038. And so folks can call, I'll say it one more time, 802-828-1038. So we have someone staffing that line from 8 to 4:30, every day, every work day, and they'll be able to answer questions as they come up. And we're working right now to set up an incident command structure in our department, and we're trying, because we just sprung into action, and we did not have the systems in place, so it was just all hands on deck. It reminded me very much about like Tropical Storm Irene. It was kind of a mess the first few days, but we through here and sharing the mess with you all and trying to get our bearings. But we're starting to put a system in place, so we'll have a communications officer set up today. By the end of the day, that person will be the primary point of contact. I think it will be Linda, and then this will be part of her job, is to think every day, what should I be communicating to the community? And so we're a little bit behind in that. My apologies. We're updating the webpage every day.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Diana Griffiths. I live on 627A, a mile.
Are you on well?
Yes. Yep. It's been tested. Richard showed up at our house, scared us half to death at 8:30 at night. So I just want to say he is working.
If he showed up at my house at 8:30 night, I wouldn't open the door.
I had been to a meeting, so I knew what he looked like.
All right.
I know that we're all concerned about our personal wells, but I wanted to bring up, and I know that we're testing of surface water is going to start, but I do want to make sure that Lake Perrin, not just Perrin Creek, but Lake Perrin is included in that. During the summer, hundreds of children go up there as part of summer camps run by various agencies in the area, and they're up there every day, almost all day. And it would be really nice to be able to tell the parents who are sending their kids up there that, yeah, the water is fine. Because,
it's the first on the list here of what's being tested, water and sediment. So, Lake Perrin
too.
and fish. But it's on the list, no question about it.
I just wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
And thanks for cooperating and working with us. I hear you had your pajamas on when you
No, but everybody else will.
Governors don't get to put their pajamas on. First of all, my mom boys don't wear pajamas, but go ahead.
My name is Janet Foley. I teach chemistry at Bennington. And I wanted to respond to what the person brought up about what's Bennington doing about this. Myself and two other faculty members are organizing a course that's going to happen this term and also next term that's really going to try to parse a lot of the information, the scientific information about what is known about PFOA. There's a lot of contradictory information. We want to try to get to build a picture really of what the situation is. Also, students are going to be involved and coordinate information with with what you guys are doing in terms of mapping wells and mapping the pathway and of how this chemical is moving. So, you know, Bennington is intellectually and physically involved as well.
Thank you. I read the article about that in some newspaper, and thanks for your work on that. And I hear that Williams College and some other colleges around are also diving in, so we deeply appreciate it. Science matters. Yes?
I have two questions. My name is Greg. I live within the radius. My well has been tested. How will we receive the results?
Great question.
Yeah, that's great. Richard, do you want to answer that?
So what we've committed to do is we will call everyone who's been impacted as quickly as we can within a day or two of receiving the results. And we're not sure yet whether we're going to call everyone who is non-detect, assuming that some wells are, or whether we're going to push that out by email and snail mail. But everyone will be notified as quickly as possible.
And I have just one more question. It's regarding the medical evidence stating that there are two various cancers and assorted other ailments connected with this particular chemical. Is there enough information to say that that excludes all other cancers?
No, I do not believe so, but I'll let the department help. You agree with me on that, right?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
I think what we're emphasizing is what the predominant cancers are, but no, we're not saying that it doesn't treat other. It's not cause to other cancers. We wish we could tell you, but it's just not known. There was no answer to the question yet. You know, one of the challenges you have is when the feds say, hey, go use this stuff, and if we have a problem, we'll let you know. We're not dealing with a very rational system.
Far back, Angus.
Angus.
Hi, Angus, I live in North Bennington. You were talking about the compound staying in the ground for 90 years.
In water.
Or so.
It is in water, yeah.
What about property values to those in the affected area? You were talking about a long-term plan, keeping Saint-Gobain involved, and I just wanted to point to a similar case in 2005. DuPont in Washington State was fined $10.25 billion in settlements without revealing that they were culpable, without basically saying, yes, we're responsible for PFOA here, partly in response to lowered property value and also to pay for health testing over a long term. So there's a precedent there, and I wonder if there are plans to include that in the scope of effects.
It's definitely one of the things that we'll be looking at as soon as Angus we're out of crisis management, figure out what the problem is, where it is, how bad it is, and why it's there, and who created it, in fairness to the company we keep talking about. But there's no question that if it negatively affects property values, you know, that is, as I mentioned right in the beginning, our homes tend to be, in Vermont, our major investment. And we expect that to grow over time, so that when we retire or we pass it on to the kids, if we're no longer on this earth, there's something there for them. And it is definitely one of the significant questions looking long-term that we're going to put on the list. So the answer is yes, it will be on our radar. Yeah.
I'm Isaac, I'm a student here at the college. Going back to health effects, one of the things that the commissioner mentioned was that there have been a couple of studies in regards to the two cancers that PFOA is associated with. The other effect that was mentioned was low birth weights. I know that that has been a found effect, particularly in the Hoosic water crisis, and I was wondering if there was any investigation regarding low birth weights here in North Bennington.
Last week when we started to do the analysis, we looked at our cancer registry because that's an actual registry where we're able to track individuals. I would have to check. I don't know that we track low birth weight by individual because we don't have a low birth weight registry. So that might be information that's not available to us at an individual level. But I can't give you a conclusive answer on whether or not we could look at rates overall. Because again, when we break down rates in Vermont, if we don't have a registry like that and we're looking at it broadly by population, it tends to be by health service area or by county broadly. That wouldn't be very helpful if we're trying to look specifically at the North Bennington area. So we just want to be careful about what we're putting into the formula to be able to come out with a conclusion. So if this was all of Bennington, oh my God, it isn't, that would be a different way to look at data. But because it's a subset, we're probably more reliant on individual data, and we're limited on the kind of individual data that we have at the state level. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm also a student at the college. You said that there were plans to test our pond, but we also have a farm here, and we sell the food that we grow on the farm to the dining hall. So I think that if there are plans to test soil, that Bennington College's farm should be included in that.
Thank you.
Thank you. If it's not on the list, we'll put it on the list.
We're working with the company right now to put together a site characterization plan, and so we're looking at the full scope of soil testing, so it's a great time to make that suggestion. Thanks.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Bree. I live in Shaftesbury, but I have a home in North Bennington. And I'm wondering what the standard protocol is for testing soil and water. What is the frequency? What's the criteria? Who pays? How often does it happen? And the second part to that question is, are there any other industries in Vermont or Bennington County that use PFOAs or produce them?
So the answer on this back half is yes, there are other industries that use PFOA. When we did the testing with the EPA randomly around Vermont, there was some attention paid to that, obviously. But we're going to dig in pretty deep based upon the experience we're having. It's pretty common chemical used in the manufacturing process.
And at this point across the United States, the chemical is being phased out. But there are industries that have used it across the state of Vermont that we're putting together lists for, and we're trying to respond here first, but that's the next phase, and we're starting to work through that. And then I'll have Richard Spees kind of work through the details of the sampling.
I'm sorry, I actually meant on a macro level, not what it is to respond to a crisis, but what is the protocol statewide for soil testing and water testing? What is the criteria? How frequently does that happen? I'm surprised that in a 5-mile radius of the plant we weren't tested in that first, that a citizen had to alert us to it.
Well, so let me just be clear. You were tested. Bennington was included in the testing that took place, and it came back negative. So I just want to make it clear, there's a 5-mile radius. We tested in Bennington. Having said that, I'll turn it over to Richard for the soil questions.
Sure. So usually, as you know, PFOA is an emerging contaminant. It's not something that we historically look for when we go out and do assessments at sites. This is actually the first site I've ever sampled for PFOAs at in 28 years of doing this work. We're working with the companies to figure out who's going to pay for it. I think we already have the commitment from the governor that it will be done. So even if the company doesn't pay for it, we'll get the work done one way or the other, which is the most important thing that you can feel comfortable will be done. So we will be doing soil sampling. We probably won't go out 5 miles in the first round of sampling. We'll figure out how bad it is close to the plant. If it's not bad at all, we probably won't move out too much further. If it's really bad, we'll keep moving out. So it's kind of a stepped approach, but we will take things like farms and daycares and things like that into account to make sure we can protect it.
But Bree, does that answer your question, or were you wondering on a regular basis
regular
what the state does for testing, just periodically during a regular week, that kind of thing? Does that ever happen?
So we'll do the background study on some contaminants, but not on PFOA.
Right. I just want to point out, Bree, that I think it's fair to say that government is just getting enlightened to this challenge. What happened out in Michigan, Flint, with the water supply, is making all governors go, wow, are we doing our job? I think when this challenge came, the PFOA challenges that some states are having are making most governors go, wow, we better be getting on this. But in candor, we have to admit that this has not been an issue that's been front and center in all the thousands of crises that I manage in a day. This has not been once put on my radar. And probably other governors